We have some insane breaking news, and the more information we get about the 20-year-old who tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump, the more questions I have myself. This article reads, Trump rally gunman was definitely conservative, classmate recalls. A former classmate of the 20-year-old man who tried unsuccessfully to kill former President Donald Trump at a Pennsylvania rally on Saturday recalled him being staunchly to the right of the political spectrum. Quote, he definitely was conservative, Max R. Smith told the Philadelphia Inquirer of Thomas Crooks. It makes me wonder why he would carry out an assassination attempt on the conservative candidate. Smith shared an American history class with Crooks and remembered a mock debate where their teacher made students stand on one side of the classroom or another to signal their allegiance. Quote, the majority of the class were on the liberal side, but Tom, no matter what, always stood his ground on the conservative side, Smith said. Quote, that's still the picture I have of him, just standing alone on one side while the rest of the class was on the other. And that further supports the lone wolf theory, the idea that he was acting independently, that he had a troubled life. We know that he was bullied in high school and he was a loner, so it does seem like he was a lone wolf who maybe used this as a roundabout way to commit suicide, and it worked. Crooks died in the assassination attempt. Trump, who suffered a minor injury to the ear, was fine Sunday after being treated at a local medical facility, his campaign said. One audience member was killed and two others critically injured amid the gunfire. And a few things. First of all, this has brought out the worst type of rhetoric in a lot of Republicans. I will be fair, some of them have tried to tone it down and said, okay, we should chill for a few days, but the vast majority of sitting Congress members have already tried to blame this on President Biden's rhetoric, have already tried to pin this on the media. People are losing their minds. But secondly, no matter what way you slice it, this kid was molded by Donald Trump, was molded by the fact that Donald Trump heightened the tensions of U.S. politics from the second that he hit the national stage politically. Not only Trump, but all of the MAGA pundits beneath him who have been spreading these lies and constantly disenfranchising people, because from all of the information we have, this kid was a conservative. He was a conservative, which honestly just raises more questions than it answers, in my opinion, because when an assassination attempt happens, you automatically think it's probably somebody on the other side of the aisle, but knowing that it's a conservative, it makes you wonder, was it a far right person who thinks that Trump isn't far right enough? Is it a Nikki Haley conservative who's disillusioned with the movement? Is it some conservative who recently turned into a liberal, which I doubt? Or was he just super disillusioned, disenfranchised, and is sick and tired of the apocalyptic rhetoric Trump uses? We don't have confirmation on any of that, but it's interesting to think about what it could mean, him being a conservative. This article reads, Trump shooter Thomas Crooks couldn't shoot at all in school's rifle team, made crass jokes, ex-classmates say. Thomas Matthew Crooks tried out for his high school's rifle team, but was rejected for being a terrible shot and making crass jokes, his ex-classmates reported. Crooks graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022. Two of his former classmates told New York Post that a few years ago he tried out for the school's rifle team. Jameson Murphy and another former student explained that the team at their school shoots Anschutz single-shot rifles with peep sights and .22 caliber ammunition. At the school, the shooting range is 50 feet long by 21 feet wide with 7 ranges. The former students recalled an incident when Crooks fired from the 7th lane, which was the closest lane to the right wall, but hit the left wall. He missed every target on the back wall completely. Murphy said that Crooks missed his target by close to 20 feet.
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much.
This was high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
Those details from Thomas Crooks' former classmates also support the lone wolf theory in my opinion. This reads, a woman who asked to be identified only by her first name, Kathy, said her son attended classes with Crooks and sometimes did group projects with him in high school. She said her son told her that Crooks was very small, smart, and quiet. Quote, I hate this stereotype, but like a little nerd, she said. Paige Updegraff, 20, said she went to school with Crooks and was in classes with him, including a health class and PE class. She said he had a quiet, raspy voice and mainly hung out with and spoke to a couple of other boys. Quote, I really feel like I only saw him talking to the same people. I don't really think I ever saw him go out of his circle, Updegraff said. Updegraff says they were interested in the military and ROTC as a way to get into college, and they sometimes wore clothing that showed off their interest in the military. Updegraff also said she was pretty sure that Crooks himself or one of his friends wore pro-Trump shirts while in 8th grade. Quote, I would almost put money on the fact that I probably had seen him wear a Trump shirt or something along the lines of that beforehand, which is why this is so shocking to me. It's incredibly shocking, and I'm really interested to see where this investigation goes, because from all of the information we have right now, this seems to be like a conservative student. It seems to be like that for sure. And keep in mind, disproportionately, a lot of the terror attack that happens in the USA are done by right-wing people. I mean, if you talk to a Republican, they would have you think otherwise. They would try to convince you that the BLM protests were worse than like World War II, but terrorist attacks are disproportionately committed by right-wing lunatics in America. That is a fact reported by the FBI. So Thomas Crooks' behavior would fit that pattern. And I just really quickly want to hammer home some points on media literacy. There shouldn't be a single point throughout this whole situation ever since the assassination attempt where you open up Twitter and you uncritically believe something you read on Twitter. That is something that Trump supporters do. They believe whatever they read on social media. And I was disappointed because I saw a lot of people that I trust, that I look up to, reposting stuff on X that was completely debunked only an hour later, and they didn't take it down. A lot of the outlets like CNN, MSNBC, AP News, BBC, I get that they're not perfect, but they do have a lot higher journalistic standards than just some random person on Twitter. Places like BBC or AP News, for example, they have a large team. They have the infrastructure to fact check stuff, to vet stuff, and if they get it wrong, not only do they correct it, but if it's incredibly wrong, they actually fire the person who got the facts wrong because they need to be held to a certain standard. Whereas on Twitter, you can literally tweet out a straight up lie. You can get 80,000 likes on that lie and you have no incentive to take it down. You really have no way of fact checking it. I mean, Twitter does have a fact check thing, but it barely works. So yeah, overall, I was just disillusioned with the amount of people spreading disinformation right away, including people on our side as well. Someone that I really trust on Twitter, someone that I looked up to, made a post about how they think Donald Trump had a blood capsule that he squirted on his ear, and I was like, dude, this happened 30 minutes ago. Why are you already speculating like this? And he said that his source was a tweet that he saw earlier, so it's like, okay guys, we have to be better than this. But another good example of the way that disinformation spreads rapidly was this rumor that Thomas Crooks had donated $15 to Act Blue, which went mega viral on Twitter. Everybody saw that. Everybody saw this rumor, and if you believed everything you saw on Twitter, you would uncritically believe it, but it came out that another MAGA talking point down the drain. Thomas Crooks, who donated $15 to Act Blue, is a 69-year-old Democrat who lives in Pittsburgh and just happens to have the same name as the Republican who shot Trump. So to sum everything up, I have a lot more questions than I had the other day. We don't know what his intention was, as he was a conservative. We don't know what his motive was. But if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy my style of reporting, make sure you leave a like, make sure you comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button, and have a great day.